Well, good evening. Welcome to VP4 TV. Welcome to Virtual Pool 4 Online. Welcome to Potman and good luck. We're here for another match in the VP4 2022 Black Ball World Championships. And I think this is a second round match. We'll just verify that. These are the matches scheduled. We've got this match coming up, Larry and Potman at the top of the hour. There's another match on, a one-loss side match, John Boo and Legit Matthew, and then the other matches are Simanx and Brain Fill Out on the one-loss side. That is going to go ahead on Saturday, as is the match between Spud Boy and Dirties, if that's his name, and that's late on Saturday night my time, 10 PM. Double check the bracket, and we go down and we can see it's a round 2 match from Larry from the USA, Potman from England, due to go ahead in about 4 minutes time, race to 13. Good evening to Dwight, Aussie and Lot. Now, I don't know whether you've been watching prior to the start of the stream, but I'm just going to post it again just to let any of you who didn't see it, and also in the process annoy everybody else. Just have a quick look at this. Right, that should have given you enough time to read it. The problem, of course, arose last night, and good evening to Semi-Pro, and as it was explained in the text, I don't think either player was really aware of the situation, let alone what was to be done to resolve it. And of course, we've got lots of other matches to come in this tournament, and this information isn't readily available to the guys. I mean, it is on the tournament comments, but I would say probably a fair chunk of what's left in the tournament, give or take a few people, won't realise that can arise, and obviously won't realise how to resolve it, and probably just carry on as happened last night. Anyway, that's for another time. The match we have now is about maybe another minute away, and well, with the greatest respect to Potman, he's going to have to get his act together and cut everything down to a minimum, i.e. numptiness and daft things. Keep it tight, and above all, pouncing the chances he can get if he's going to give Larry trouble. Larry old enough and wise enough. But of course, it's who's going to make the fewest mistakes and who, above all, is going to take advantage. That it looks like Larry would be the heavy favourite in my book. But Potman's played a fair bit over the years. Maybe not an awful lot of black ball, but he's still got a reasonable idea of what he's doing, and probably more, even though it's a dodgy table, might feel a wee bit more comfortable on the smaller table. We will see. We just don't know until we see it. I can't remember if Steve said he was coming in, but anyway, he isn't here, so maybe he isn't. I can't remember what he said last night. But anyway, the room should be up. Oh, it isn't yet. Oh, there it is. Let's get in just in time for the lag. So Larry's at the top of the HUD. I assume that's him at the bottom of the table. And I think I've got it wrong about 4 or 5 times. That's what I was told. Larry's at the top of the HUD, so he's at the bottom of the table as I look here. So Larry wins it. I got it right that time. So Larry, with the first break, gets a ball. And I think he's going to go for yellows. Or is he? I mean, quick look at those 2 reds. They're not really very handy where they are, and he's not got really anything adjacent to open them, so he's going to stick with the yellows. I've started yawning already. Well, this streaming's taking its toll on me, as well as getting up at 4 AM in the morning. I'm knackered. I don't know whether this angle's good enough to hold. Yes, it is. So now he can cut this in. There's a bit of a dodgy shot if he was going to cut this one, and the dodgy shot's still to come if Larry's going to leave this one here, because what he then has to do is, and that might have gone wrong. It might have gone wrong. I don't think he can get to pot that. It's going to hit the jaws. He might hit it dead weight, and there might be a possibility it's going to go in. Yes, it has gone in, just in off the jaws. But the problem with that is that he couldn't get the movement in the cue ball. He wanted to try and get out into this path here, or at worst over here, and he's on neither. And these situations like this, where Larry's got himself out of line, Potman's got to take advantage of this. So let's see what he's made of. I'll have a quick drink. And we know that the problem's up table for Potman. And now that the 8-ball's sort of out of the other thing is that even if Potman had got down to the short side of these 2 reds, he can just pot one. It's unlikely he's going to end up there, but now he could lock Larry up behind that red in the middle of the table there, I think. No, he could. If he was brave enough, he could. I mean, what Potman doesn't want to be doing is to be keeping potting all of these balls and then not being able to do anything with the two that's up the table. And the thing is that if Potman misses and leaves the cue ball down the bottom end of this table, Larry's got a reasonably good out. The only hindrance for Larry is those two reds. Is getting the cue ball into a spot where he can pot the one in the rail. Now Potman here should be trying a little bit of spin, and if he's unlucky, he might hit these and not have a shot on them, but he can certainly still have a shot in this one. But he's got to try and give them a little nudge. He doesn't need to slam them, and he's hit Larry's ball instead. And now he's in a dilemma. And the dilemma is the fact that he's got to try and work out some way where this cue ball would be safe, and good luck to him with that one. And that's well thought out, simple enough. It concedes a shot to Larry to pot the yellow, but of course Potman's now got control of that corner. I think Larry maybe was looking to see whether he could bank that yellow. Well, Larry's done the right thing, because Potman from this position can pot his red nudge into the other yellow, I think, but he won't have a shot in the 8 ball unless he wants to bank it, and that might be the best he could get out of this, and he might as well take it. The 8 ball isn't going past the yellow, but I think if he just dinks this red in, well, it's no different from where he was 2 minutes ago. The ideal shot for Potman is to somehow ever play a safety that stops Larry seeing either of his balls. And Larry's just can see the edge of that one. And I think that was legal. And now Potman has extracted the error from Larry. And he's got his free shot. Now what does he do with it? Because he obviously can't get to the 8 ball. Now why doesn't Potman draw off the yellow, pot the yellow, draw off the yellow and hit those two reds? Or does he think he can get good in this red to cut it? I mean, if he's up the table, he can get it. But let's see what he does. Well, he's certainly got himself in a pretty good line to be able to play it. And he'll brush off the other red and send it probably just to the short rail slightly. I don't think it might be that thick a contact, but well, I think he's trying to convince himself whether he can make the cut. It looks on to me, but I would play it gentle. I wouldn't be hitting it with an awful lot of weight, because you might want to still leave yourself on that red. Well, I said gentle, and that wasn't gentle, but it's going to do. He's on the bottom side of his problem red, so he's got there one way or another. Whether he planned it or not, I don't know, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Good evening to Slim. Good evening to Mark. And anybody else I've missed. So this looks fairly straightforward. Now, did you want to run around the angles, or did you want to give this a firm stun to get out? Because he's a bit straight, and he's going to have to give it a wee bit of force to get out unless he runs around. But he has to miss the 8-ball, and he has done. Well, Potman won that battle, but it was down to the error that Larry committed, and Potman took advantage. Good start for Potman. And the cue ball's gone off the table. Well, from a good start to one of them, and Larry's been given a chance to immediately respond. Now, you're doing something wrong if you're smashing the balls and the cue ball's going off the table. You're hitting it too hard, probably with the amp on as well. So Larry's, well, that's his free shot gone. I think he's pretty much decided it's going to be Reds, but the Reds there are awkward balls to get to one way or another, and then he might be choosing yellows. I don't know. These balls up by the 8-ball of the concern. So he's decided it's going to be yellows, and the first major problem is that yellow next to the red, they're locked, so they don't go anywhere. But I think Larry could drop that red in right now, the one that he's in between the two yellows. I think he could have dropped that in. And why he didn't, I don't know. He's maybe waiting for another go at it, but where he was, I think he could have dropped that in. The problem would be as to where the cue ball is going to end up, though. That's the problem. That might be why he refused it. He doesn't want to rely on luck to get on his next ball, which is a common sense way to go about things when you start. Sometimes you have to take a risk and then and hope you get that good roll, but one way or another, he's going to have to bite the bullet and take it. Now, see, I don't know whether he tried it there, and I don't think he's gone far enough, has he? Can he just get that legally? I think he can, just enough of it, but he's got to. I think he's got to. He's got to make sure he runs through and pushes the yellow out of the way. Well, that was always in the cards. I mean, he didn't hit it with any force, so he's not got any movement, and he's got himself in big stook here. Well, I thought Larry would have been wiser to that situation than most people, because even I worked out that if he didn't hit it hard enough, he wasn't going to get out of there. But it's got Potman at the table, and he's got, well, the ball that's on the rail is the obvious problem, and the fact that the 8-ball stuck above the pocket. But he's got, these 3 or 4 balls are adjacent, so he can't do it from this one because he's the wrong angle, but he's going to have to try and play a shot somewhere along the line to nudge that yellow. And if he tries to drop the cue ball into this sort of spot, he's going to scratch. So Larry's, even though Larry's not at the table, he's still in a good enough shape here, where he's red in the open and the one over the pocket. And all he needs to do is get into this big area here to get 8-ball. So Potman knows that situation's on the cards. And again, well, this time Potman has to be brave because, well, he's looking at the one into the side. I don't know whether he should be taking this one and trying to get a little draw off it and dig into that ball in the rail. I mean, this is a tougher shot, but that's the one that gets that one out. It looks like it to me. And the ball still remains there. It might have not been a great or the best of angles, but he could have tried to make something of it. And he's going to have to work something good here to stop Larry seeing his ball. Well, it's still there, and Potman's still potting balls. You can't see enough of it past the 8 ball. Now, why doesn't he just roll? Why doesn't he just roll to that ball and just try and finish sort of in behind the other yellow? Well, that's unfortunate. Now it's all too easy for Larry to tie the match. Well, Larry's, I think, was maybe, I don't know whether he's looking at moving the 8 ball, but I don't see an issue here. Just get the cue ball back down this bottom end of the table and you're rolling it into the side. Maybe he was just looking at what the angle was like into the side. Well, I don't know whether you agree with me, guys, but Potman had that one shot where he had to be brave to play the more difficult cut, and he could have drawn off it and maybe got a little nick onto that yellow ball and got it into play. And I can't believe he didn't see it, but I just don't think he fancied it or wasn't convinced he could do enough to get into the, and even just a sliver an edge of the ball would have got it off the rail. And where he had finished with the cue ball when he was up here, past the 8 ball, he would then have been able to pot it. So it might have been a chance it got away there for Potman. But then it all went south when he ended up scratching and actually followed. He followed Larry's ball in. So, but anyway, it's going with the break at the moment, I think. Is it? Oh no, Larry broke there. So Larry must have broke dry. Yeah, he did. Once again, Potman is not get any option. I mean, he could go for the bank in this red. I don't think he's going to be in a better position. If he banks the red, that gets rid of a problem. And at worst, he still get this ball down in the bottom right rail, or the right long rail on the side there. I think he was as good as ever he was going to be to bank that red ball into the left side pocket and refused it. And straight away, Larry has got control of the bottom left hand corner. Yellow ball guarding it, and 8 ball just above it. So, in this situation, Potman's sort of backed into a corner. Plus, Larry's stopped him seeing his 2 reds there. And Potman may end up having to play a nudge on his 2 reds up top. Well, he's played a little chip off the yellow, which has guarded that pocket. That actually wasn't bad. So he is doing a wee bit of thinking. Well, he is at the moment. So immediately Larry's decided he wants his yellow ball out of there. And he's gone for the cut, and that is sweet. Well, it's good that he got the pot. He's going to play a little combo. Or is he? Well, he's got a combo both ends of the table. But now, what did he do there? Did he try the combo, or did he just decide to try and... I don't know what he tried to do there, but he certainly nothing went in. Good evening to Simanx. Simon. Well, watch Potman get worked out here. Is he just going to try and get in behind his red? No, that's got the 8 ball out. But again, you need that little bit of good fortune to have another shot after it. And he can see the one up table, but he's going to be running up towards those 2 yellows. And he just got to hope he can still see this one over this corner. He could run into the gap between the 2 of them and be hooked. You just don't know how this is going to turn out. Well, he's gone into the gap. But more importantly, he's still got a shot. Now, this looks fairly straightforward. But I think the important thing is that he has an angle off this red where he can pot it and just come back for the 8 ball into the same pocket. There's no good, obviously, there. He should be down here looking at where he wants that cue ball. And that's no good. He's the wrong angle. He's heading away from the 8 ball. Now is he just going to try and draw to the rail? Oh, I think he's overhit it. And again, just the pace control has let him down. He got the right line. He managed to pinch the line to the rail. Got the draw working. But he's dead and buried behind the yellow. Oh, well, if you can do that. There's a shot. That's a Filipino kick shot, if ever I've seen one. Well, you never know what can happen. Potman was dead and buried there in that rack. Gives a kick onto the 8 ball, cuts it into the side. And that was a bonus. And now it's back on Potman's break, so that one was against Larry's break that time. And we've still got an open table. 3 balls have gone down, they're all yellows. Well, at least he's improved that yellow there out into the middle of the table. And he's also forced Larry into dealing with his red on the right side a different way, because again the yellow blocks this bottom right hand corner. So Larry's got a wee bit of thinking to do and working out and how he's going to try and take this rack. Now if he cuts the one on the side, again I thought he would cut it a wee bit firmer than that to try and run through and take the red up the table. Now he might get a 2-in-1 shot here, go for the cut in the red, but he may well knock Potman's yellow ball in. Now this could backfire on Larry if he doesn't get his own red, if he doesn't pot it. And he's avoided that. It was going nowhere near the yellow. But it was a good cut. And now he's run into his red ball and it's open in the table. So Larry's going to have to play the combo. Well, that was off the rail and off the back of the red and in. I don't know whether that was the line he was taking. Well, you saw how that match was turning last night. You know, we thought Tommy was out the game. He was 6-2 down at the beginning or whatever, and eventually through a little bit of assistance was getting himself back in and it was going to be a really, really close finish, I think, until the sequence of events that we saw last night happened. Well, Larry's looking good here. Just needs to get up the table or go through for it into the side. And now this is a shot. Get himself. It really looks like just get himself below the 8-ball. I don't know whether he's going to try and go around the corner on the top left and the two rails and down the right side. He might just be trying to get below the 8-ball to give him options here, but that yellow blocks the 8-ball up to the right corner pocket, and he might have a shot into one of the side pockets. I don't know what he's doing. It looks as if he's going the two rails. He's just trying to get below it. And that's a good shot. Well, he had a wee issue to deal with and got it done. An immediate reply from Larry to square the match. And again, that was on Potman's break. Larry's broke. He's broke dry. Look at this table. Now, you've got a red on that. It's not on the right rail. It's not a bad position to roll down the rail. But the other red above the yellow is a problem. Now, the yellows, on the other hand, I think that's the ones to go for that reason, because this yellow here, obviously you can get to it. Every other yellow you can get to, and the 8-ball's in the open. So that's the set he's going for. Now he's had a look at this cut in the yellow. He's going to chip his other one. He doesn't want to chip it into the red and stick it up. And that's well played. And I don't think he's done any harm other than brought the yellow into play. And it's going into the side pocket. Now, Well, Potman's always sort of, ummed and ahed and looked around, so he's not doing anything different, but he's given it serious thought. Well, he's got himself in a good position here, Potman. He missed the yellow, but he's got it stuck over the pocket. And now Larry's the one that's got some serious thinking to do. Because it's a tough setup for Larry here, the way these balls are. Particularly the four in this section of the table. The four balls here are all a problem. And that's why Larry is giving it a fair bit of thought. And of course that shot, he was hoping his red would follow it in, and it hasn't. So that's gifted the rack to Potman with a free shot, and he doesn't have to do anything with his free shot really. It's just a case of potting these balls, and he's on the 8, and he's out. Well, I think I'd be taking that one into the side first, and this could just go funny if he just gets the wrong side of one of these yellows. This is how easy it is to get yourself in trouble here. And he's done it. He's the wrong side of the yellow. Cue ball wants to run away. And anywhere here, that cue ball's there. If that cue ball's here, he's laughing. It's a little stun in and you're on that red, you roll it in and you're on the 8. Now, with this difference in angle, he's got to just control the cue ball. And, well, that went downhill rapidly. And don't say the commentator hasn't got a commentator's eye. I mean, that was so easy for Potman, provided he was wise to the situation and getting himself that correct angle. And he was 3 inches out, and had he been on the spot, there was no problem. He was home and dry. And although Larry's still got a fair bit of work to do, he's going to have to, well, do something like that to let Potman back to the table. Well, that's a bit of a surprise. Yeah, I think has anybody spoke to Cobra? Because I'm pretty certain Cobra was feeling the pinch. Well, Potman's obviously got his yellow into the side, and now he has to decide what he's doing with this cue ball again. Does he want to just stun up and down the table, try and get anywhere down here, or is he trying to draw into a narrow window? He's trying to draw into the narrow gap, but he's got there, so that's fine. So that's an unexpected return to the table for Potman. And an unforced error from Larry. It was a careless one. So Potman back into the lead. Yeah, well, I think Steve, in all honesty, I think he's looking at blackball. He might have been working a lot in the leagues, but I think after last night's situation, I think he's decided it does require a bit more work, and I think he's maybe given that some serious thought. I wouldn't take any bets on it because I think that's what he's doing. He's trying to get the algorithms and whatever the hell else he has to do to try and get something worked out for that type of situation where the game will take over. I mean, who are we to know? But it must take an awful lot of code to do it. But fair play to him if he does, or if he has decided to do that. And that's twice I've seen that situation. That first time was the one with Potman, and I don't remember who he was playing, but it was just a challenge room, I think. And the very situation arose, and then we had it last night, and it's going to happen again, particularly with players tapping balls over pockets and stuff like that. It's going to happen again. In fact, it's probably going to be a lot more frequent than people would think. So Potman on the Reds, and he's got issues, let's just say. Well, that shot there, although it didn't go in, it's exactly that, giving Larry a chance to deal with one of his problem balls. I think there's a fair bit of head scratching goes on in this game for a lot of people, myself included. My problem is trying to read how this cue ball comes off these rails. Now I think if Larry can get a sniff of those two yellows on the right hand side, you know what he's going to do. He's going to combo the one to the right of the red and get it over in or over the pocket, and probably hoping to get the other yellow into play as well in the process. Or he's waiting on Potman biting the bullet and trying to get in amongst them, and hoping Potman gets it wrong. But either way, something's going to have to give sooner or later. Well, that's just taking care of that sort of combo. Nudging his red in between them. Now, is he going for the combo up the table just to get it up towards the pocket? Looks like it. Oh no, he's gone full blooded and he's flicked one. And look, is he on this red? Well, he can roll that one in, but I don't think he can do anything with the one towards the rail. That doesn't go. Right, well, it's now obviously opened a corner at this end for Larry, but Larry has got this bottom right hand corner pocket guarded for that Potman red that's just behind the cue ball. Potman's got control of the top pocket, and Larry's played a good shot there because that now has forced Potman into either skimming this red or potting his red up table. Now, if he skims the red, well, to me, the shot you have to play is skimming this red because you don't want to pot that one up the table and have no guarantee that by potting this next one, you're somehow going to make this more acceptable for a pot somewhere. Well, he's potted his ball, and by doing that, he's now got himself in serious trouble. I think I would have left that over that corner pocket and let Larry do the work. And now he's left everything on for Larry with the one problem left for him, which is that yellow there. This is what Potman's relying on being the problem. And Potman doesn't want to move this anywhere. If anything, he wants to leave Larry to have to deal with it. He doesn't want to be banging it at the ball and moving it. But of course, now that he's missed, it's a free shot. So at 6 1/2 Larry's going to deal with it one way or another. And it's going to be 3-all unless Larry fills up again. And I think he tried his best to do it, but he would have still been on this one in the side. Well, good evening to Andy. Andy, you're permanently on Discord, I notice. Does Discord just automatically switch on in your PC? Is Twitch buffering? That's weird. It must be because it's peak time in the UK. It's been a long time since Andy's been around. So Larry trying to add the finishing touches here to square the match. But Potman should have left his ball over that top left-hand corner pocket. That's my opinion. And he should have just chipped this red that was on the bottom rail. Larry still had problems to deal with, and above all, Potman wouldn't have filled. Well, dare we say it, but look where Larry's put himself here. I think Larry's going to try and nurse this over the pocket, because if he misses it, he's leaving nothing on for Potman other than a bank. He's just going to try and help it towards the pocket. If it goes in, that's a bonus, but if it doesn't, then he's still going to probably get a second bite at the cherry. Although the bank is on. So this again, Larry's hedging his bets here. Good evening to Cobra. Have you recovered from last night, Cobra? Yeah, that's reacted the same way as it does in the 9-ball table. That red's just come back towards us. So we're all square again. Who do I fancy for the tourney? Well, let's forget when you talk about who do you fancy for the tourney, let's forget semi-pro as being the more experienced player at blackball. Take that out of the situation, first of all, right? It's the same players that are going to be in contention for the tournament, regardless. You know, because the players like Cobra and Albinario and Mal and semi-pro, and there's a couple of other players that can cause them problems, right? We've seen that. You know, we've seen Cobra been in front last night, but actually playing a bit like he was trailing and he was feeling the pinch when Tommy was coming back. There are players that can cause issues. Tommy's one of them because he's not a mug. Zangetsu's proved that as well. He's not a mug. Stubb is a bit of a mug the way he plays, but he can still pop balls. So these are all players that are in contention. You don't just say semi-pro's the favourite because he plays a lot of black ball. There's a lot of guys that are finding their feet in this game as the tournament goes on, and they'll work their way around it. Okay, semi-pro should be the favourite on paper because he has that experience, but in a tight situation, it's anybody's game because the nerves come into it. And you cannot say that semi-pro is the odds-on favourite. I would disagree with that. But in terms of contention, it's the usual suspects that are in contention. You know, but I like the fact that one or two of these other guys are showing that they're in it for the long haul. Tommy's on the one-loss side, but none of these guys want to get bumped over there and bump into Tommy in a race to 11. They won't admit it, but that's a fact. And Zangetsu is in for the fight as well. So it's all good in my opinion. I'm enjoying now that we're getting deeper into the tournament because the standard's getting better. That other match, I don't know whether it's going on at the moment, but I don't want to sit and watch that match for 2 hours because I know what I'm going to get. But I think that's a fair call that all the usual guys, the guys that have a fair idea of what they're doing, are going to be, keeping themselves well in it till deep into the tournament. That's the way the pattern's always going to be. There's not going to be an overnight success turning up into these tournaments and winning it. Put it that way. But anyway, Larry did his best there to put himself in a hole. And he's got a tough little cut, but again, it's a case of just get it in or over. But his problems then is how does he deal with this red? Because the chances are he's going to be hooked on it. The one next to the yellow, to the right of the 8-ball. You can see how the shape of this match is going. You would have Larry as the favourite in the technical side of things. But that's you've got to add all the other factors into it. And what Larry's done here, he might try. I don't know whether he might try a far-fetched billiard off that yellow into the corner because that's the only option he's got. I think. Just watch the billiard off the yellow to try and maybe get control of that pocket. Yeah, he's hit it too thick. He got it too solid. But everything of that shot ended up good apart from the fact there's a yellow over the pocket. But now it's up to Potman to show us what he can do again. Well, the thing about Stubb is, he's on that one-loss side now. We've seen what he did in his last match against Zangetsu. He was all over the shop. He wasn't using the common sense approach to try and deal with situations. He was just slamming at it. If you start getting a ball rolling at 100 mile an hour, sooner or later it's going to find pockets and find trouble. And he did it in too regular a basis in that last match. Sold himself down the Swanee, so he did. But Stubbs got a potter's chance. That's all Stubbs got. Nothing else. Albinario is the best all-round player in this game. Able to adapt to all the games that Virtual Pool 4 has. Well, Stubbs' tactics are non-existent. Well, Potman, fair play to him, he's got the job done. Back into the lead. And it's his break again. Oh, cue ball thought about it, but a couple of balls have gone in. They are yellows that have gone in, but what we're interested in is what's the best set to go for. Now, looking at that setup, you would say the yellows are the best, but not if you're sitting here, you wouldn't. You know, he's got limited choices, and the easiest ball is obviously the red into the corner, red into the side, but he's got this issue here. Now, if he pots that long yellow, which is destined to go past the 8 ball, he's in business here. And again, it's about biting the bullet and playing the right shot. Now, that yellow ball is the one I'd be going for, because I'm getting myself into the table, and if I overhit it, I'm down here to get these two. So he's decided it's the reds. Nudged the two yellows together, and now he's only got one shot, which is that. Unless he plays a little, well, that's a bit of a cut to try and play a combo, isn't it? So we'll see if Potman's choice is the right one this time. But I'm taking those yellows because of the way they were sitting. Simply because I didn't have to do anything to open them up. I just had to get the cue ball in the right place. But it's the same with the reds. You've got to get yourself in a spot that you can do some damage and improve these reds here. And, well, I don't know what he's thinking here. Does he think he can see enough of that? Do you think he can see enough to hit that and cut it? Maybe not. I think he might pull the yellow first. I think that would be the case. Well, the one thing I think certain is Stubbs going to have a serious challenge to find his way through that one loss side without coming unstuck. You know, it's a real long haul for him to get back into a fight for the last spot in the final. I think his chances are fairly slim, because we know that there's some more qualified players going to come across him in that one loss side before he even thinks about getting to another final. Well, Larry's pushed his yellow, but pushed it right onto the knuckle and straight back in the direction it came. Is always going to be the outcome. And Potman has no shot that's going to get him down into those reds. Now, I'm trying to clutch at straws here to see if you can get on that one. You can't get on that one to pot it, I don't think. How does this look? Well, he's again slightly the wrong side, but he might want to go forward with a bit of left on this to try and get a hit and get lucky. No, he hasn't done that either. Let's see what he's got planned. Presuming he's got something planned. Allenville's he must be in love or something. He doesn't come to VP4 anymore. Well, I'm going to take my hat off to Potman if he can get this done. He's awkward here, but he's in far better shape than I thought he was going to be 2 minutes ago. I mean, that goes. But what's he doing with the cue ball? Well, that's not bad. At least he's not hampered by the yellow. And this is, well, if he gets this 8 in, this is an excellent out for Potman. And he's already looking a lot more comfortable on this table than he does in a 9-ball table. And that was a great out for a 5-3 lead. That was excellent. And now Larry has got the idea that he might be in a bit of a match here. There's a way of sending a message to your opponent. So, Larry's break, the break was dry. So, Potman's committed to the yellows. Once again, he's got problems to deal with. He daren't push this yellow in too firm if he's taking the one in the rail. But the cue ball's heading in the direction right into that top left-hand corner behind the yellow. It looks like the line it's taking. It probably won't take anywhere near that line, but that's how it looks to me. But he's hit it soft enough, but it was going in that line. And now he can duck for cover if he wants, I think. I think he can just chip off his yellow ball up there and drop in behind it. Send it to the side rail at the right pace and the cue ball to the short rail, and he'd be hoping it comes in front of the cue ball. He's not interested in it. I'd be giving that serious thought. I would agree with Cobra there in that statement. I would have stubbed it at 20-1 against. I take it you're busy, Andy, or I take it you've been keeping well. I mean, I think there's people have died in VP4 since you were last here. Well, what did you put Cobra's odds down as? I never read it. I think you can simplify the odds. You put semi-pro as as the odds-on favourite, and the rest, the other 4 or 5 on the same odds. You don't want an odds list like the Grand National. Well, I take it you won't be very impressed with this, Andy. That was just made on a free website that you can make intros on, and it's only 720 resolution because you have to pay a subscription to get full HD, and I ain't paying a subscription. Yeah, we do need black cues. I've been crying out for them since VP3, and I can't remember who made my black cue in VP3. It's that long ago. Was it you, Andy? Who made my black cue in VP3? Because Andy was doing it. I think Andy made one for me with my name on it as well. The audio for your scenes is muted. Are you winding me up, Slim? Because I can hear it all. Hang on a minute. You're right. You're right, Slim. Let's test it again. Well, we'll test it in a minute. But you know what? I can hear it, but I was adjusting the volume before I started the stream, and I've actually muted. You're right enough. I did mute it. So we'll do a little test in a second. Some might say that's not a bad thing to have them muted. Well, Potman all out for the bank. Is he going to hold the cue ball? Because he's got to think about the second part of the shot. And he's put draw on it. He wanted to stun that. And that's the second part that lets you down, is getting the bank but not getting the cue ball in the spot. But he's got another bank on here. It's a bit tight. Where the hell is this camera going? Oh, it's a bit heavy. Well, Larry, again, in or over the pocket will do. If it goes in, he's fine. He's on his last red. But Potman got everything right there. But thinking about what he was doing with the cue ball off that bank, and he could have been 6-3 in front. Make no bones about that. He should have been 6-3 in front there. Right, let's try this again. Now nothing's working. What the hell's happened here? Wait a minute. Well, it helps if you hit the right buttons, doesn't it? Just a wee sec, we'll see the break. Nothing. Now. I take it you heard that. So Larry at the table. Nothing has gone down on Potman's break. And Larry plumping for the yellow balls. Now Larry's got one issue. Well, he's got two if you count the one nearest is this yellow here, because he has to get down onto it, which he's done. And now, is he looking for, if it's a bit of right on this, he's trying to get into them, so he's got the right English on it. He's got to allow for the squat. And now he's dead. And this is so close that he can't make the potting angle, I don't think. Can he? Nope. And he did make cues. I can confirm that. He made that. He had my cue with my name on it. He had text down the shaft of the cue. And I think somebody made me a tapping one as well. I can't remember who the hell. I think it was Andy that did it. Somebody made my black cue, and somebody made one with my name on it. That was Andy. And somebody made one with a tapping butt. So they are. Well, see, this putting scenes together. I've got criticism for Cobra about my music. I'm trying to learn this XSplit broadcaster. There's a lot of learning to be done in it. I'm just a noob at this thing. I've only been at it since 2007. "15 years. It's not so. Listen, I'm going to start annoying people by playing excerpts of the music now. I mean, if it wasn't for copyright, I'd have a lot of good stuff on this. I can guarantee you that. If it wasn't for copyright. Well, Potman, 5-4 up. Bit of a situation to deal with. Wrong angle in the red. Now, can he hit this full in the face? No, he can't. It's too thin, but he can just let it die. But that'll then leave Larry this yellow. Now, is he pushing this forward and then spinning in behind him? I don't know whether that'll work. That'll do, though. I like that. Apart from the fact he's left the yellow exposed. Larry can get to it. That had to be nailed to the 8 ball. And now Larry's all set to square the match here. And this match has been on for an hour and 15 minutes. And we're only at 5-4. We've only played 9 racks, so we're going the distance with this one tonight. Yeah, there's somebody that hasn't been in VP for a long time, and Andy will know who I'm talking about. Jazzy Z, he was from Finland. That's a name that we've not seen. He's never been near VP4 as far as I can recollect. He might have been in once, but we've never seen him ever again. Well, Larry has recovered. He should have been 6-3 down, remember? And he's now back all square. And the yellow gets nudged in. And I think Larry fancies the yellows straight away. And I think that 8 ball goes past the red as well. So this table set up pretty good for Larry here with the yellows. He can get access to that yellow there. And he's made his choice, and he's been able to deal with the one problem yellow, which is that one. And his favourite to take the lead now. Mojo's, it might have been Mojo. What I think it was maybe Mojo that made my black cue. I wanted a black cue so that I could see the bloody tip of the ball, tip of the cue on the cue ball. And Steve still never got round to doing any black cues for this game. They've got nice black cues in Shooter's Pool. I've already got one. Not that I use it, because I don't play the damn thing. But I bought one. Yeah, Mojo's not been here for ages. That's another player that's come and going. He was in for a period of time a little while ago, but he's been gone again for a long time. Well, this table was set up for Larry with these yellow balls. He's not had anything to do other than get on that slight problem ball, which was the one that was here, and he got it nailed. So Larry's recovery continues. It's 3 in a row now for Larry. And the red goes into the side. And, well, the reds aren't bad again. I mean, if you're going to be hypercritical, I mean, this one here could be a slight issue. But if Larry's at any point rolling that red in there, he can easily go on the red here. And then he has to obviously worry about how he gets onto these two. I think he's given it some serious thought here. Yellows could work as well, as long as you get rid of that yellow fairly quickly. Then you can get that one away. Well, Larry's made his choice. He's decided it's going to be the yellows. And he's immediately got himself in a wee bit of stook. Is he looking to cut that one into the side, or is he going to play the Chinese snooker one? Looks as if he's cutting this into the side. Oh no, it's Potman. See, this is what happens when I look at the chat. I go back to the bloody screen, and it's the other player that's at the table. Who are we talking about? I missed the top part of that chat. Who's that remarried? I need to blow my nose. Give me a sec. Well, this would be a good response from Potman if he can hold himself together, and if he can also somehow get on that red on the right rail. Now, he could make this a worse situation here if he tries to move it now, but I don't think he has many other options. Now, this could end up good, bad, or ugly. Well, that's excellent. He got the perfect little stunt into the gap. He didn't try the Stubb shot. There was many shots like that Stubb could have played to get the cue ball into a spot, and he never. I don't think he ever did it once in that match with Zangetsu. It was all bang, 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 and when the shots are there, as long as you execute them right, you give yourself every chance. Well, this is now vital that Potman takes this home to tie the rack up again. There's the cue ball going. And no sooner have I said that he's got himself. He's got a pot, obviously, but it's one of these ones you don't want. And the cue ball's going in the right direction to have a sight at the 8, so it's all on this. Well, Potman's he's just not got the legs. Yeah, he was in a matter of weeks ago, but all he does is come in, he sits there for a little while, then he goes. He's not really here in a competitive state, and hasn't been since Virtual Pool 4 came around, really. Put it this way, I play more than him, and that's not much. And I've had one game of Cowboy today with Tam, and that was it. And that's all I feel up to. By the time I finish that, to go and get my dinner anyway, to get ready for this. Well, that was a good chance for Potman. And it's just beginning to look that if Larry can take this one out, then he's going to start pulling away here. Whatever chances Potman's had there, they're still vital chances. Got really awkward in that last red. Well, I've got the rest of this week to work. Well, when I say the rest of this week, I've got the usual tomorrow. I've got a short shift tomorrow, and I finish at 9:45, and then that's me off obviously the rest of that day tomorrow, Tuesday, and then I'm off Wednesday, I'm off Thursday, and then back on Friday. Again, a short shift on Friday and Saturday, and a short shift on Sunday, and then that's me for a week, so that I can I've always get the first week of the World Championships where I'm on holiday, and that way I can sit and do absolutely nothing and just watch snooker morning, noon, and night, and get a proper fix. And so that's my schedule for the next week. Well, I've had enough of that. You won't see me playing one pocket again. You won't see me playing much at all. It's just cowboy I play, and that's only my days off, and that's only in the mornings when 2 or 3 of the guys are on late at night stateside. When I get up at about 6 in the morning, as I tend to do in my days off anyway. And when I think it's definitely got to be age. I'm just too knackered to concentrate. I just cannot keep my eyes open in the afternoon, let alone now. And again, I missed my nap in the afternoon. No, I didn't miss my nap. In fact, I had such a good nap, I forgot I had a nap. I did have a nap. What was I watching at the time? I've always got something in the telly that I'm watching, and then I don't know what's happened. What was it was on? See, I've totally forgotten what that was. It might have been Minder or something. Was it Minder? Because as you know, I only watch stuff from the late 70s and early 80s. That's the last time I watched the telly. That's a good shot. That's an excellent shot, Larry. In terms of the pot, that is. He's still got problems ahead with that last yellow, if you want to call it the last yellow on the right hand side, but at least it gives him control of the table for the time being. You might get away with them in the pool table, they just don't happen in this table. No, I'm not in roller skates. I should be in roller skates, but I've just celebrated. Well, I didn't celebrate. I just noticed that the date had passed. I've been there 8 years now. 8 years in April. It was April when I actually started. Now, that shot by Potman has given Larry a straight choice here because he can only see his yellow that's next to the 8 ball, and he can only see his yellow that's down where Potman's red was. So Larry's forced into moving his yellow. Well, this is going to take a bit of time to resolve as well, I think, this rack. This is why this match is taking its time. We're only halfway home, and we've been 1 hour, virtually an hour and a half at this. I'll have another drink. Well, the plan was that I was going to have a cup of coffee after this match. I was expecting this match to be over by this time, by about 90 minutes. And my plan was I'll have a quick cup of coffee, maybe a biscuit, and then I'll think about nipping to bed. But I think we can forget that. I think it's straight to bed after this is done. Because oh dear, because the old brain box is starting to go. Well, here's a chance for Potman to be really aggressive. Give it a cut into the side. Try and get into that red. The worst that can happen is he'll still have a shot in his red that's over the corner pocket. Well, again, that was a pretty controlled shot. I mean, he didn't do a stub. He's got it into play. His red goes up the table past the yellow. He's red over the corner. But what about that 8 ball though? And this is where Larry's still, on paper, the favourite at the moment in this rack. Unless Potman gets something out of the blue here, literally, because, excuse me, I think he's a bit too thin in this red to do anything with the 8 ball. But what do I know? Is he trying to draw to the 8 ball? I don't know. I'm just trying to... No. Well, the one way of doing it is getting up the table far enough and not too far where he can see that red there like that. And then he can pot it. He's going to have to punch it in, get maybe a wee bit of draw and spin, and nudge that 8 ball out into the table. The obvious problem there is the 8 ball is going to be extremely tight to try and squeeze past here. Well, he's got the spot. I think he couldn't have landed any better. He needs to not be too tentative with this though. He's got to get into this, get to the rail, get the bit of spin on it. I think that it might need. Well, what's he seen that I haven't seen? Is he just playing for position? Because Larry's going to have him in knots in a minute here. I don't know why he didn't go for the jugular and try and get the 8 ball out, because you know what's going to happen. Potman at best is going to have a 2-rail kick to get to this red. It's coming in a second or two. And Larry's just going to... Well, Larry's keeping potting balls as well, so I don't know what's going on now. Answers on a postcard, as I say. I can't see the red going past the yellow going past the red, can it? Can he nudge that in past that? Maybe he can. I think it will. Yep. I should have looked at that closer earlier on. Well, Potman is 7-5 down and about to go 8-5 down, and he refused to take the risk. And there's a fine line between success and failure, but you've got to take the initiative and take that risk there. It was giving yourself the chance to finish the rack, and he didn't do it. And suddenly, from 5-3 down, and should have been 6, as I mentioned earlier, it should have been 6-3 to Potman. Potman now finds himself 8-5 behind. And Larry seems to have got things under control. Potman's just not being aggressive enough when he should be, I think, in a couple of situations to try and improve the setup they had. Well, you've got to sometimes just bite the bullet, haven't you? Larry's not the player that's going to back down from playing the right shot. And if Larry was in that scenario there, he would have done it. Okay, again, he's no guarantee he's going to have a shot on the 8 ball, but it's a lot better than just dinking the red in or over the pocket and doing nothing. So for a period of time, Potman's been in the game, and he's sort of letting it get away from him. Well, Larry, let's have a look and see what he can manage with this. Now, does he maybe want to try and... I mean, this has got all the hallmarks of rattling the jaws, because you've got to bump this in if you're going to try and nick off a red and go up table to still see the 8 ball, or bump it in to spin off the red and come back for the 8 ball, but he's going forward. Now this could end up in the mire up table. Yeah, he would have been hooked in the 8 ball, but at least he's got his yellow where he wants it. So now it's up to Potman. And, you know, in that scenario here, with the way these balls are, later on in this tournament, this is the type of situation that whoever you are, you simply have to run them out if you think you're going to be a contender to be winning this. If you can't get this done, forget it. Yeah, I hasten to add that Slim's the only one that started this rumour. Well, Potman, his back's to the wall at the moment. Is he trying to lock up behind the 8? Because Larry will go for the kick. Well, he's got it behind the 8 in the red, but the angle is there for Larry to drop onto this yellow. I don't think he wants to hit this too hard because he wants to keep the cue ball there or thereabouts to roll the 8 ball up table. Now, Larry's going above the pocket, but if he's playing that, he's got to play it with right English. I think the middle pocket's in the way. I think that's the problem. That's why he's jacking it up, and he's got right English on this. Yeah, and you see again, he's not the first person that's been caught out by the spin. That ball has caught the jaws of the pocket when he was trying to spin it to hit it there, and it's juiced up the spin and it's caught the jaws. So it's one of these. So Potman, dare I say it, you've had your free shot. I think he might have been better to worry about dealing with one end of the table first with his free shot. See, now he's going back and forth. He doesn't like the angle in the red that he's left there, so now he's back down here. And now the danger is that he's going to leave himself too straight in that red if he's leaving it till last. The one up table, that is. Well, I don't know whether you remember, but Steve did say there'll be no such thing as VP5. It'll just be this with the updates if there's anything, and that's mainly just bug fixes. Well, he did bring out a new game, Andy, in case you're interested. Filipino rotation he's added to VP4. He did that in the last update, really, although a couple of updates have been little bug fixes. Well, Potman's on the 8 ball, and this is all about pocket weight and just finding that line. And he's gone to the rail too soon, and again, it's a rack that should have been his, and it's gone. And this is just a matter of time now. I think Potman's been in it. He's got to 5 racks, but he's stalled, and he's failed to get the job done on too many occasions now. But like I said during that visit, you know, with those balls sitting the way they were, his first mistake was potting the ball in the side. What he had was these balls up here and these balls down here. He should have dealt with whatever it was, whether it be them down there or them up there. I would have dealt with these up here first, and then I'm working round what's left, and I'm on the 8 ball. I can't see a problem in getting out. Potman's created his problem by not dealing with one specific end first, and he ended up, because he ended awkward in this red, didn't like the cut, decided he had to go down here. You know, this is where you're making things complicated for yourself. The simplistic thing is deal with one situation, get rid of it, and then you know where you stand. And that's how he ended up losing the rack. Left himself not too difficult an 8 ball. He didn't pick the line, sent it to the rail too soon, and it has never got a chance of going in. Well, here we go again. Unforced error from Larry. Potman on the yellows, and he's got 2 problems. That one that he's looking at up table, and that one that's behind his cue ball, where the red and the yellow is. Good evening to Tommy. Yeah, the leagues, you didn't see any of the streams. Steve was on doing commentating the other day there, and he gave a fair bit of detail, far too much detail he gave for us all to take it in, about all the stuff he's been doing in the leagues, and they're going to be getting tested in the next couple of weeks. He's been doing a lot of testing himself, but it's going to go public very soon. Now, I haven't been up to look at that yellow. I'm assuming it doesn't pass the red. Oh, it does. It goes past the red, no problem. So, they're all there again. And I think he's going to get himself in trouble. Well, he still got the pot, but that's not where he wanted to be. He wanted to be taking the one that's on the rail and dealing with it. So, he's got to get off the rail. The safest route is off the rail and back out. Oh, yeah. He's making hard work of this. And now, what does he do here? I mean, it's obvious he can pot the yellow, but that red ball's going to kill the cue ball, and he's going to end up hooked. And if he doesn't get enough into it, well, that's well played in terms that he's on the red, yellow, I should say. Well, this is definitely a must-win rack for Potman if he's going to sort of reignite his chances of surviving this match. He's going to need a little bit of help though. But he has got one back. I think it's been about, it feels like more than half an hour or more, 40 minutes maybe, or thereabouts since Potman's won a rack. Larry's had 6 in a row. The 8 ball is going to drop, and we're on for the re-rack. So Potman breaks, but once again, cue ball on the break has scratched, and that is not good. And not good from also the point of view that everything's here for Larry. And I mean, every set of balls is not too bad. I think he's taking the red simply because that yellow's awkward. That's the only one that's slightly awkward, the one that's just below the red at the moment. So the reds are going to be dealt with, and he should be out here. I think he maybe wanted to run a wee bit further here. He's left that a wee bit short. Now, he can certainly play the little combo. He could roll through and maybe end up taking that red in the side. Nope, he's just gone straight for it. And now he's in no man's land. He's in one of these in-between shots. I mean, he can go up table with a red, but he's got to come back for the red as well. Does that go past the yellow? Yes, it does. Plenty of room, so it's not as bad as I thought. He's fine. Now, is this too much of an angle for a little dinky draw? Or is it straight to the rail and back out? Or the other side? That'll do it. Yeah, I think Potman's fate is more or less sealed now that Larry's back to a 4-rack lead. And of course, it's alternate break. And it's only now a race to 3 as far as Larry's concerned. Well, we may well get to the 2 hours yet for this match. Larry's break was dry. Potman, no choice but the reds in this situation because that's all he can see. And all of these reds are on. And it's another situation where the better player would be coming to this table and would be looking to run out. And it wouldn't look too difficult for them. The only major problem is the 8-ball, but the 8-ball can be got at. If you're rolling that red in, you can get to it. That's the only final thing that would decide the rack, is how good you're going to be on whatever ball it is. I mean, if it was this one here, well, he's played a combo in the red and the side, I think. He's nudged the 8, and it's now stone dead. So just the one shot has spoiled his chances definitely now in getting through this. And then, of course, Larry's got the same situation as far as his last yellow's locked up with that 8-ball, so he's going to have to start thinking. Right, just give me a second. We're just shutting down Discord. Yeah, I think Larry's idea was to try and go the 2 rails or 2 rails into that red, that yellow and 8 ball. He clipped his own yellow first there. I think that's what ruined it. But you see there again what happens when you start hitting balls with a bit of force into these side pockets. If they don't go sweet, if they brush these knuckles at pace, they just go elsewhere. They don't go in. That's a clever little shot. Gets rid of one of his yellows. I think he was hoping to maybe leave that over the pocket and trying to tuck himself away behind these 2 yellows up the table there. Potman, of course, has got that red over the top right hand corner, but it'll be going nowhere fast. Larry's, I think, maybe tried to force him into potting, although it's immaterial whether he does pot it or not. The big issue is still this 8 ball in the yellow. Now, Potman, if he got it good, and that isn't it, he could go on that red that's near the yellow in the 8 ball, try potting it somewhere. If he had the angle to get into them, it's the best ball for doing it. I mean, the one that's actually finished in front of him in that line there, that one near the middle pocket, is actually the one that would just an even better ball to cut into the side and run into the 8 ball in the yellow. But he's now reluctant to pot his red over the bottom left hand corner. Now rest assured that Larry's going to try and thin his yellow and come up onto his own yellow here. I think he looked at it. Well, he's hung his, so that makes no difference. It's just that pocket's covered. It doesn't affect the outcome of this rack. That ball. Now Potman has gone 2 straight on the red into the side, so he can't do anything constructive there. And he would need to. I mean, he could try it off this red here. You know, you've got to punch it in, get a bit of spin, and just try and get any sort of hit whatsoever to improve this setup here if he's going to go for the kill. Now, if he doesn't get it, fair enough. It's then down to Larry, but he's got to make a move. And again, he's potting balls, and he's going to then be forced into playing the 8 ball, and Larry's just going to come in and finish the job the way I see it at the moment. I think he had half a chance with that red that was there, and dinking it in, getting a bit of spin, and trying to nudge those 2, and he didn't look at it. And now he's in last chance saloon, so to speak, off this next red that he's going to pot, as to where he puts the cue ball to give him a chance. Now, he's digging down in the cue ball. Well, this is where he has to get the pot 100%. That red that he's hitting is going to come back off the rail and out into the table, but he's going to collide with the 8 and hope he doesn't get a double kiss. No, he hasn't got it. I think maybe he hit it with too much pace that the cue ball bounced off the red and went straight to the rail. And I don't think this is any good to him. And he's got to get... Well, he went for the nudge there. I never got a chance to come around to see whether there was enough of that 8 ball showing. And this 8 ball is stuck to the rail, I think. It's a couple of millimetres off it, but there's not much you can do than go for the reverse bank here, or the bank into the corner. But this rack's pretty much gone if it doesn't go in. So Larry's going to be 2 away from the finishing line. And what was a promising start to this match is very quickly, well, it's not very quickly, it's very slowly just gone away from Potman. And he's had these little opportunities where he could have improved situations by taking the initiative. And he's maybe not been aggressive enough at the right time when he should have been. And it's just drifted away. Well, we're going to break the 2-hour barrier for this match, most certainly. It needs to be 2 quick racks for it to stay under 2 hours. So Potman's break gives him a ball. I don't think there's been many racks in this match where we've had a break and we've looked at the table and decided there's a good run out on. Very few. It's been common in quite a few of the matches where you're breaking off and there's like still that awkward set of balls left, maybe 1 nailed to the rail or 2 stuck together, whatever. And this is no different. You've got the 8 ball right next to that red. Potman going for the yellows. And again, he's got himself in this spot that's no real good. Not an easy pot, reading the angle. And the cue ball is heading into trouble, possibly. A bit like that. Now, is he trying the bank? No. He's trying to tie up that yellow and make it tighter on the red. Give Larry what to do, but again, as soon as Larry gets a sniff of a chance to get near that red, he'll have a go at it. Just to get it a bump out into the table or get rid of the yellow. Of course, the other problem as well is that he would really have to get his red out into the table because the other yellow down below here is the other blocker into this bottom corner pocket. So he's just hoping he'll find some sort of shape or some line that'll get him there. Well, that red going up the table, I don't know whether that's. I think it'd be difficult to say whether he can pot that. I think it's too much angle. I think he'll hit the rail and come out. Maybe if he can get the forward momentum with not too much pace, he'll just get a nudge. Let's see. Well, he's looked at it. I think he's convinced himself a bit like I have, because I don't think that the angle he's got allows him to get there. I think it's see, this is better. It might be too good. That just didn't get it heavy enough. But he's on the red. Up table, that'll do it. That's all you need. But you know what I'm talking about there when I said, Larry's just looking for the first good chance. Now, the first time he was on that red, he didn't like it. And I didn't think it was going to get him there. The second one was much better, and it was just enough to get that ball into play. And Potman's just not been on the ball as far as dealing with a couple of situations that he perhaps should have done better and been a bit more proactive. And Larry's in perfectly good shape, just a little drop in and he'll be on the hill. And we have gone past 2 hours. Well, Hogg's late to the party again. Probably hunting for truffles again. So Potman in the last, how long is it? The last hour or more in this match has won 1 rack. And Larry from 5-3 down, and again I'm going to repeat myself, he should have been 6-3 down, but Potman has won 1 rack in this whole time, and his chances of, there's not even a flicker of light for Potman now. That's been extinguished a long while ago. So Larry's gone for the Reds, and his only stumbling block is the 8 ball. I presume don't tell me he can't see that red. He can't see the red, so now he's in trouble himself. Can't see the other red on that other rail behind the yellow. Can't pot it. He's got 1 yellow in the open that he can see, and he's got the one over on the rail that he can see, but the other ones he can't get to, so he's going to have to try and find somewhere reasonably safe, wherever that might be. I don't remember seeing that name before. Jay Smithy, who's that? Oh, I'm muted again. I'll just summarise what I've been saying. This match is over. It might still not be over for quite a while in this rack, but it is done. It's going very badly because I'm falling asleep. I should have been in my bed an hour ago. I think Potman's one of these early risers as well, so I think he's maybe touch and go as far as staying awake. Well, cut into the side and let the cue ball run. That would be the order of the day here. I don't think you need to hit this too hard. You just have to make the cut and get some sort of hit, and that'll do. That's got the yellow in play. So, dink this yellow in. Cue ball comes out into the table. Maybe not too far because he doesn't want to hit this too hard. You have to give it all the opportunities to go into the pocket. So it's just going to be softish, this. Well, the time here's just gone 10 p.m. and I've got to be up at 4 a.m. Yep, that's as good as he could do. He couldn't risk giving that any more pace. Well, he wants to pot the one on the outside first, because that way he can then cut the other one and come across with the 8 ball. And he's overdone it. So now everything's there for Larry to finish this off. The one concern for Larry is that he doesn't want to be leaving this ball as the ball to get to that ball, because again that has to be dinked in and the cue ball brought out. So that's why he's gone up table, and that was a sensible shot. You have to immediately be thinking about these situations, and he's made his life a heck of a lot easier doing that and getting rid of that ball right there that he's done. Take the one down the rail now, get the one in the corner, roll the one in the top corner, and the 8 ball on the opposite. That's it, done and dusted, folks. And we'll have a quick look at the bracket, and we'll also have a quick look at the stats just to catch up on how things are shaping up. You've got to remember that the stats are a little bit misleading because some people have played more matches than others. In the end, it's a comfortable win for Larry. Potman's chances sort of flickered and died when he got to 5, and that 5-3 lead and that possible 6-3 lead. Larry goes through by 13 racks to 6. So we'll see how that changes the bracket. Let's have a quick look. Now, that other match, what was the other match? It was a one-loss side match. I presume it's finished a while ago. I never saw a result coming through. In fact, I've totally forgotten who was playing. Who was playing tonight? It was legit Matthew and John Boo, wasn't it? Well, it went to a final rack decider. So it did. 11 racks to 10. Maybe that would have been a better match to watch. I don't think it would have been, but maybe for excitement it would have. And looking at the winner's side, we go from top to bottom. We've still got Albinario and Mal to arrange their match. They've still got another, 8 or 9 days to get that done. And we've got Spud Boy to play Dirties at 10 p.m. Well, that should have... What day is this? Well, no, that's the 16th. Forget it. I was thinking that was later on tonight. No. We've got Snake Eyes, who is through to round 3 to now play Larry. So that'll be a a good match as well to watch. After that great match last night between Snake Eyes and Sylvia, I think Snake Eyes will give a reasonable account of himself against Larry as well. It'll be a good test for Larry. And further down, we've got Cobra and Semi Pro. That's the big match of the tournament so far for round 3. And further down, we've also got a good match. This will be interesting to watch. Zangetsu, the conqueror of Stub, in round 2, and he's going to be playing Mark Sharp. Now, back to the event page, go into the stats, Black Ball stats. The racks run, semi-pros in the lead with 10. 8 balls shot, 25, and he's got 26. That's the one I can't work out. Snake Eyes with 8. Racks ran. Tommy on 8. LS3 and 6. Cobra and 5. Albinari on 4. Larry and 4. So you can see the difference that, when you have a good match where it's breaking well, you've at least got a chance of running out. So there's been a lot of clusters and locked up balls. So that's why that these guys are not in the same ballpark as semi-pro. But then again, semi-pro's got the technique of dealing with problems his way and getting it done. Right, now, average balls made, Tommy in 1.8. And Snake Eyes' average has dropped down quite a bit. I think he was the one with about 6 balls in the break. Runouts from the break. Semi-pro in the lead there with 7. Snake Eyes was 7, tied with him. Semi-pros had 3 scratches in the break, by the way. Tommy on 6, Cobra on 5, and then the rest of the field. Let's see the break bills. Well, the leader of that, there he is. There's your man tonight, Potman. He's got 4, and Stub with 3, and I think they all happened in that match with Zangetsu. So, nothing I think has changed on the schedule. We've just got what's left on that schedule. Simax and Brain Pull Out, that's going to be Saturday. And Spud Boy and Dirties on Saturday as well. So that is it, folks. I am heading for bed. I will thank you for your company. It's been a long haul tonight, over 2 hours to get it done. And, well, it does on Steam, by the way. The game goes on sale on Steam from time to time. So it does. So, with that, I am heading to bed, folks. Take care. But I need my beauty sleep more than anybody. So I'll bid you good night, and we'll see you again soon.